Hey, you there. Just wanted to let you know you are now listening to the AK Mindset Podcast. Hi guys, welcome back. AK Mindset Pod episode 32. Before I introduce it, guys, if this is your first time listening, just welcome and I hope you're enjoying. You can find us on Insta at the.ak_mindset and on TikTok under the AK Mindset. And I hope you guys just enjoy continuing to follow the journey. And with me on a milestone kind of day, 100 subs on YouTube, Ed and Daniel. Just wanted to know how you guys feel, and just to intro this special episode on the special day, how are you planning to celebrate?
Bro, popping champagne, bro. Popping champagne. 100. It's not easy. You feel me? But it's been a journey, man. It's been a journey. We've been on the YouTube platform for 3 years, and to finally hit that milestone of 100, and it means a lot to me, man. I know it means a lot to the boys as well. So I want to say a big thank you to all the subscribers. You know, man, like, interact, comment. We like talk to you guys, like to engage in, and hope you guys like the content we keep pouring out. We hope to keep consistent. And here's to 100 more, man. It's an exciting time.
Greetings and salutations, people. As I've said, thank you for listening and subscribing. We feel the love, and we just want to also appreciate everyone who has come on the podcast, whether it be on an episode or through our other, means like AK Watch, random videos where we're talking about series. You've all contributed to helping us get to this milestone, and we're just going to keep going, keep pushing, and I feel like each year we've gotten better, so we're going to keep on working to improve. But yes, thank you.
Yeah, well said, and definitely for me, guys, appreciate, just to reiterate everybody's that has spoken so far. Love the journey, always excited to share our passion and conversate about anime and anything that comes up during our conversations, whether it's deep or shallow or dumb or super smart. It's just very enjoyable. But moving on, episode 32, we're going to be talking and discussing anime motivation / inspirational videos, and especially like TikToks and Insta Shorts and stuff like that, the recent trend. That's going to be the overall topic, and we'll see what that kind of brings up. But I'm going to start with a game. It's going to hopefully a very entertaining game. It's going to be Guess the Quote, where I'm going to present certain quotes, and they'll either be stoic or philosophical in nature, or they'll be anime. And for people who are new to the idea of stoicism, it's just a philosophical concept that is about enduring pain or hardship and overcoming without complaining, and that's the basis of it, and that's mostly what these recent trends and clips draw from regarding motivation. So how are you guys feeling? Are you guys ready? And do you think you're going to do a good job?
I don't know, because the shoe's on the other foot now. I don't feel as confident now that I'm not in control of the question. So I'm just gonna say we have hope, but we'll just have to see how it goes.
What about you, Ed?
I'm just saying, I'm going up against Anime Encyclopedia, so it's rigged already, They're no special, but I have confidence, man. I have confidence. Underdog story, bro. Let's do this.
I'm even going to save you, because it's not even a competition, because we're not going to be tallying the points. I really just want to get...
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm blessing you. That's the saving grace. I just want to know in your decision making why you thought or why you put that in a certain category. And I think in this we'll go with the order. We'll go with Daniel first, then Ed, if that's okay.
That's cool.
Perfect. Yep. So the first quote, either philosophical or anime quote, we live in the best of all possible worlds. Daniel, what do you think?
I'll say philosophical.
Okay. Ed, what about you?
I say philosophical as well.
Okay, I want to know why though. Why do you think? Is there something particular about it that, on face value, makes it more, maybe has more depth and more meaning behind it, or is just a random thought that comes to you?
So I guess for me, I think a lot of philosophy does consider things like life and I guess different realities sometimes, like that comes into philosophy. So I feel like that quote is, well, what it says to me is thinking about valuing the life that you have now in the current reality that you're in. And I do feel this one was a bit difficult because I think it could apply to an anime as well. So, but I just decided to lean towards the philosophy side because I don't know. I just felt like if it applies to both, I'll just pick the one that my gut is telling me. So it was really just a gut choice.
Cool. What about you, Ed? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I think it was a gut choice as well, to be fair. My decision wasn't that deep. It was more of I feel like more anime quotes they go on the more elaborate kind of quotes. It's not just one word, it's not just one sentence. It's like a couple layers, because the one that hit you in the feels or hit you in that kind of experience, I think is a little bit too simple to be anime, but at the same time, the simplicity also makes it a bit more philosophical, because I feel like those ones, like, it goes straight to the point, doesn't go to like over exaggerate, just because like this is what it is. So that's the feeling I'm getting. So it's a gut feeling as well.
Okay, you guys, you're both correct. It's from well done. That's a. I thought it was a tricky one because, like Daniel said, it can be applied both ways. As in, it's one of those kind of more generic, especially this part of the quote, where this is something that could come up in anime. It's something that can be said by a character or be a perspective shown across. But it's by Gottfried Leibniz, a German philosopher. So well done. That's the first one. Second quote. Let's see if this is more trickier. Change is impossible in this fog of ignorance. Daniel.
Yeah. See, I'm just gonna. I want to say philosophy again as well, but I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna say philosophy. Reason why? I just feel that's something that I feel like I've heard someone say to me before, or something similar to that. So maybe they either drew from real life or fiction, but I'm hoping it's more reality.
Okay. What about you, Ed?
Can you say it again?
Change is impossible in this fog of ignorance.
I feel like I've heard that before as well, but I don't know if I heard it in the anime or someone said it to me. I can't imagine someone saying that to me at the same time.
What's your gut saying?
Like, who's going to be saying that to me? Like, change is impossible in this fog. And I don't know.
What situation were you in, Ed? Where was the pressure being applied?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm leaning more towards. I don't even know where it could come from. So I don't think I don't know. But I feel like it seems like those kind of ones there that just like, cool anime characters, like, change cannot happen in this. So I'm gonna go anime, low key, but I'm this is a random. It's not even a gut one actually. It's just I'm not sure. You can go either way for me. So I'm gonna lean to the opposite one, anime.
Well, that is a great guess because it is anime. It was Itachi Uchiha who said that. Which, to be honest, Itachi Uchiha he's basically a philosopher. I'm not gonna lie to you. Especially,
of all people,
man maturity.
I was expecting like an old man kind of vibe.
Bro, Itachi is an old man.
It basically is, to be fair.
Oh my days! But it was, that was a tough one as well. I can't lie. Like, I would have struggled. I would like borderline. I have no idea. Second one or third, I mean, mankind's greatest fear is mankind itself. Anime or philosophy, Daniel?
This is another one that I've heard, but pretty sure I don't know. I'm gonna go philosophy again.
Okay. What about you, Ed?
I think I'm a. It sounds like an anime quote. I can't lie to you. I'm gonna go anime again. But I don't know. I feel like it comes. I'm honestly feeling it comes from like Attack on Titan for some reason. I feel like I've heard that before, but so that's how I'm gonna go. Lean more to anime, but I might be wrong.
Well, I can tell you're not wrong again. It's correct. It's anime. It is from Evangelion. Quote from Gendo. So
imagine if I got it straight on Attack on Titan. I'll be gassed right now.
Bro, that'd be elite. I can't lie to you. If you just had that,
humanity's greatest threat is humanity, something like that. I was like, sounds like Attack on Titan nonsense, but not nonsense, but the usual spiel. But that was a lucky guess. I can't lie to you. There was nothing smart there.
Okay, I'm gonna do two more, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not choose any Attack on Titan quotes because I felt like you guys would have been aware of it, and especially all the bait ones. I was like, I was trying to avoid anything too drastically bait, so that it made it difficult. You know what I mean?
Good choice.
Appreciate it. So the second to last, the art of living well and the art of dying well are one. Daniel.
This one isn't really familiar to me. Kind of poetic. Have I heard this one? Yeah. I'm gonna go with philosophy.
Okay. What about you, Ed?
I think I'm gonna go with philosophy as well. I don't know if it just feels like kind of a life lesson kind of thing, like,
Oh.
because I haven't heard it before. I think it's just that's what I'm gonna go for.
Well, I can say you're both right. It is a philosophical quote by Epicurus, one of the most famous quotes that people usually know. Well, people who are into philosophy. Can't say everybody just knows this randomly.
I was gonna say, I didn't know that, bro.
I was like, I'm really gassing it up. Like, people just be reading philosophy for fun.
This is common sense. If you don't know this, always wrong.
Like, how could you not know this? This is like, you learn your ABCs, your 1, 2, 3s, and then you learn this
in
quote.
primary school, bro.
Oh my days, for real. Okay, last quote. To know sorrow is not terrifying. What is terrifying is to know you can't go back to happiness you could have had. Daniel, what do you think?
I'm gonna go anime.
Okay. What about you, Ed?
Yeah. I'm gonna go anime as well. This seems like the kind of ones like someone's is like kind of depressed, and the old man comes like, you know what? This is not that bad, The fact you can get better than this and rise up from this is a good thing. That's kind of vibe I'm getting from it.
What about you, Daniel? Why did you choose anime for this one?
Not to be rude, they just sounds a bit over dramatic. So that's why I feel like it's a anime quote, but I might be wrong. So
Nope.
it's dramatic either way. So
It is dramatic. Remember what we said about not to be rude?
oh, you're right.
No, it is. You're both of you are right. It's an anime quote. It's from Bleach, Matsumoto Rangiku. Yeah, definitely a real lengthy quote. And I feel like the longer the quote, the more likely it is to be an anime quote, or the more like dramatic it is. You know what I mean?
The dramatic is more anime than the simple, straight to the point. It's more philosophical. That was my thinking. So
No, for sure. That was kind of just to set the grounds, because you see how the world of both philosophy and anime is something that is like well integrated. People are definitely inspired a lot, or creators and writers are inspired a lot from things that happen in the world, and deep philosophies that kind of touch our hearts and motivate us and push us to, you know, reach certain goals and aspects. And these kind of the quotes in maybe dark times, happy times, there's these both quotes from anime philosophy that kind of encapsulate human nature and the human need to you know, be great or push towards something. So I think the first initial question I kind of want to propose to you is what's your perspective on the recent culture or recent uptake in anime motivational videos, and do you engage with it? How and what does that look like, your engagement with it?
I guess I'll go first. I don't really engage with anime motivational videos, so this is like probably the first time I'm hearing about well, I guess it's the first time I'm hearing about it as like a formalized thing. I guess I was aware of it lightly. Like, I know you have these compilations that they make, like the AMVs, and sometimes they'll put like a motivational twist on it, but I didn't realize that it was something that was being viewed on an increasing basis. So I guess my perspective is something of this is something I'm just learning about now, and I need to learn more information about it.
What about you, Ed?
yeah, I think I've seen it a little bit in my timeline, especially on TikTok. That kind of trend, because I feel like from my perspective, what I saw was, you know, there was a trend of like, you know, getting revenge. You know, you got dumped, you're on demon time now. You want to go to the gym, so you can, you know, the kind of Drake Up Now song. You know, that was the trend. And I think to counteract that, you got more of the stoicism of like, you know what, just be better, man. You have no enemies. That's when it comes to the Vagabond, the Vinland Sagas. You know, those guys have a lot of themes and thematical like kind of aspect to the anime and the manga. You know, to kind of teaching you just trying to be a better person rather than like, you know, seeking revenge. So that's the kind of perspective I saw it from. You know, it's just to answer that people say toxic, you know, let's get revenge on my ex, you know, he dumped me, she dumped me, so I'm gonna better myself just to, you know, take revenge and make them miss me. But, you know, it's like, you know what, how about just be better for yourself, you know? You have no enemies, no, Vinland Saga. So I think that's what I saw on my timeline mostly, especially because I love Vagabond and Vinland Saga. I was getting to the gym again, so it was just almost bound to happen just for me to see it on my timeline.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those when you like one pic or one video or something, it comes up and endless. I think that's why you've kind of missed it, Daniel, because like I think when I liked some Vinland Saga stuff, that's when it started popping up for me on my Insta stories, not even Insta stories, Insta feed, like loads of them. And Ed is right, like before I feel like it was hella toxic, so toxic in the beginning, or when I first initially saw it, because it was basically from the standpoint of something negative happened, and you know, you are being vengeful in some aspect, whether, like Ed said, it's against a partner or a friend or a parent or at work or whatever. It was super toxic. I don't know, but I don't know why, but that's how it started, and it's kind of understandable why. Obviously, you would avoid that kind of thing, so you'd be try to be far away from it as well. So a lot of people kind of missed the uptake in it, but I kind of want to know.
I wanted to ask: is this a TikTok thing? Is this where you mainly see it?
It's on both, you know. Like Ed, what would you say? Do you think it's a a mainly a TikTok thing, or do you think it's also?
To be fair, for me, it was mainly TikTok because I use TikTok more. But with Instagram, I don't use it as much. So I just think just based on your like what do you call it? Your algorithm. I can't say that word properly. But that what you like and you get you get it. So if you like it on TikTok, it shows you like on your the reels on Instagram. So I think it just depends your interaction. I think even on Twitter to a certain amount, if you interact with like the Vinland, I think the catalyst for it a lot was the Vinland Saga, especially that they're coming on. Because it's like, oh, this is boring, man. I need Thorfinn and that demon time. So you know what? It has no enemies. I think that from my perspective, anyway, that's where I saw it from. So I think for me, it's more TikToks, but I think it just depends what you interact with the most, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter.
Okay, that makes sense because I'm on neither TikTok or Instagram, so it makes sense why I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Bro avoided the whole movement. The whole movement. You know those early times when I was watching last season when I was watching Vinland Saga and I'll come on and we were discussing how it was making me feel, and I was like, this simulator, this farming simulator and stuff like that. When I was liking these posts, that's always coming up for me. And I think it even made it worse because I would even see, obviously, the first extreme of seeing Thorfinn go when he was younger, going all out, and I was seeing him now, and I'll be like, no enemies. I guess having no enemies is fine as well. You know what I mean? I was like, I guess I can come to my inner peace and accept it.
What's that young man to suffer, man?
I was like, just a little bit more. So do you man think this is like a trend, or do you think it's something that, you know, has existed previously, like in the past, but it's just in a new medium? Because I don't know if we've had anime motivation to this extent. I don't really know, or I'm not fully aware of the history, but from what I've seen, especially when I watched old videos and like just on a casual level, I've gone through the past anime and how it was viewed and my viewing experience when I'm watching it. I never see anything geared towards pushing a kind of stoic or motivational or development aspect to it. So do you mind think this is a new thing, or is it something that's always been there and just in a new form?
I think it's been always there. I think it's from, for example, I think I had a friend, actually Carl, friend of the pod, and he was always into this inspirational stuff, like especially in the morning. You don't go on Twitter, you don't go on any kind of social media, but he goes on YouTube and does this like inspirational videos, and maybe not like the stoicism kind of vibes, but you know, there's a lot of anime, sports anime kind of inspirational kind of stuff, like Yo Much Pedal, Haikyuu. You know, it was a lot of like, you know, if you feel like you haven't like achieved a lot, you know, you can keep going, especially Hajime no Ippo as well, stuff like that. So I think it was there. I think just a new form of inspiration from a different perspective. I think it was always there. I think now it's just more in the limelight and more focused on like a more stoicism kind of vibe, I think.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, because I was also thinking stuff like Dragon Ball Z, that is is basically very inspirational, and just the kind of even the Saiyan mentality of getting stronger and training yourself and going beyond your limits and pushing yourself. There's that aspect that is like, of course, people can take a lot from it, and people have, like, you've always seen people found inspiration to train harder or work harder at their goals and that. What about you, Daniel? What do you think? Do you think it's a recent thing, or have you seen motivation anime as something that's been a long continuous theme throughout like its history?
I would say I don't think it's a new thing, because like I was saying with the AMVs, those have been around for time, and I know people used to do motivational or like inspirational versions with the music and then selecting certain moments. So I feel like on YouTube it was there, And then maybe with the presence of new apps, it started to evolve, and now you're starting to see new twists on it. I can't speak to that too much, but I feel like it has always been there. Like, people remember certain moments and use that to motivate them. I know I've seen people talk about, oh yeah, this moment motivated me or inspired me, and this is something that was memorable for me. So I think people have been using anime as a motivational tool, and they've it's not something that's just started to rise with the rise of popularity with anime and manga.
No, that's definitely true, and a good observation. I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. It just definitely just looks very different because of modern technology and stuff, new development, and that kind of leads me to the next section or next part of this evolving question. Do you think anime is a good tool for personal development or seeking meaning and purpose?
So that's a good question. Is it a good tool? I think this is gonna sound like a cop-out answer, but like most things, it can be good and it can be bad. It just depends how you use it and the way you use it. So if you're overly obsessive and you take the wrong messages from anime, it's like, okay, let's look at One Piece. That's something that everybody knows. Luffy is somebody that you could probably model your values on, and you could either succeed or you could fail, because there are aspects of Luffy which can probably help you develop, like his honesty, his earnestness, him being straightforward, but also there's some aspects to Luffy where he's selfish, hard-headed, and those are some things that can be detrimental to your own personal growth. So I think when it comes to using anime or manga as a personal development tool, you have to ask yourself, okay, why would I want to use this? How would this help me? And can I judge the line between reality and fiction? Because obviously, this is just a story. Whereas if I'm trying to implement some of these lessons into real life, it's I need to understand how that's going to translate. But I think it also depends on the series as well. Like Blank Canvas, that's a series which I recently read and we're all reading. I think that's something that you could definitely use as a personal development, because there's a lot of life lessons you learn, and that's more related to the series itself, since it's an autobiography and it's based on someone's life. So that's why I feel like I'd feel more comfortable using that as something to help me develop as a person.
Yeah, that's some great observations. What about you, Ed?
Yeah, I think I agree to you, like, some extent. I think the motivation itself, I don't think it's bad. I think it's what you're using it to motivate for, in a sense. Like I said before with the TikTok thing, like, people are using like anime to motivate, to get revenge, to get a body type like Toji, for example. So I think it depends what you use it for. There's so many characters in the world of anime, and so many characters who are blurring the line of good and evil, and it's not even like that black or white. It's some very great characters, and you've used that kind of the ideals, the ideas as the motivation. You have to be careful what you're using it for. So you can use, even good characters, you can use Luffy's motivation to be the best, and it can take you to like a very dark part when you get too selfish or too close-minded. And some people somehow can use a bad one, like, okay, I'm going to use this character who's technically evil, anti-hero, and use it for a good thought. So I think the motivation in itself is not inherently bad, I don't think. It's just what you use it for. I think as long as you're trying to be a better person in yourself, that kind of motivation can help you, and it can help you come a long way. But if I think you're looking for something to grab when you're in like a dark time, I think that anything, no matter how good it is, can motivate you to go deeper into what you think. When you think, okay, no one cares about me, I'm gonna be a lone wolf like this character and just go because he's cool, and go into a kind of deeper and deeper kind of hole of depression. But you think it's like cool and like stoic because you're by yourself and stuff like that. So I think it's just the end game of what you're using the motivation for. I think that's the perspective I'll come from.
Yeah, I kind of resonated with that, especially when you said the Toji body type thing, because you know that's definitely what I've been on. I've been trying to get that Toji gym routine. I need him to release that. I'm not gonna. He's not a good guy. I'm not trying to be like him, but when he releases that gym routine, I'm gonna smack it out like my life depends on it. Oh my days. I think the next thing I kind of want to ask also is like following from that. Me, I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like it is super tight because I feel like, especially in this like medium, a lot of people, I can tell are very passionate, and passion leads to people doing extreme stuff. You know what I mean? You have people who are well balanced like us, you know, AK mindset, the trio. We're very balanced people, but then we know like the anime environment, the anime world we're in. It's actually there's some interesting individuals like there is in any group of people and or following of something. So I feel like I take like aspects of both parts. So like obviously just have to be balanced, and there's things that are meant to be learnt from and things that you're supposed to draw out inspirational from, and all mediums are supposed to be inherently inspiring, whatever it is. If it's music, if it's cooking, if it's and when I say cooking, I'm talking about Food Wars, just to let you man know. If it's cooking, if it's anything, it's supposed to be inherently invoke something in you to push towards like being your best version of yourself. And anime, I would say, is exactly the same thing. So I think it is in essence a good tool, but whether there's enough balanced people who might be in a subculture of something who can implement those lessons, like that's kind of the true that will actually be the true tone of whether it is a good tool, you know what I mean? So I believe it by itself is good, but I think because of how vast it is, it can be used wrongly. Like there's so much bad things that people can get inspired from, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like a lot of people
see it every day.
Legit. Actually legit. So that's why I'll be more concerned in, do you know when something it can be viewed as good, but just because of the off chance that one person is heavily inspired by light, like I wouldn't want that. Like just being inspired by a villain or something, and because these men they're charismatic. You know what I mean?
They are.
They're mad charismatic. There's a reason why they're villains. They're super charismatic, and that is probably the issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I heard people start saying "Hear me out" for Thanos, I know the word was this junior was a gun. It was his gun.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I might be one of those guys there.
Oh my god! I said, let's sacrifice half the people. That makes sense, you know.
That's crazy. That's crazy. He needed to die
expeditiously.
But I was doing it in the hope that if I become a fan, I'll be one of the people he saves. And I could have
like that.
That feels random, bro.
But I was hoping I would have like VIP slots.
My hope.
There's no VIP. He didn't select. He just said 50 is dying. It's either you're 50 or you're not.
I was trying to do my best to survive.
I just want to live.
I just want to live. Oh my days. Do you have any more thoughts before I move on to the next question?
Only that if you were in the 50% and you were on a plane and your pilot got blipped, you'd also be not surviving.
Ooh, you is right.
Man, I didn't think about that.
You is very right. Oh my days. R.I.P. to all the people.
Bungee jumping and you'll be left dangling, bro.
Oh my days. There's so many bad situations. Imagine you're in a submarine I think that's too early. No, too early for some reasons. too early for some reasons.
You're not a good guy. You're not gonna speak.
It was purely accidental. I stopped myself.
The pearly gates are giving you side eye right now.
100%. 100%. Oh my days. I know I need to move on before I say anything else.
Quickly.
Legit. So I need to know, you man, what is your most inspirational anime action moment? And it's not really a quote, but like action moment, and it might be something that was over a long period of time, or it might have been a sudden moment of heroism. Daniel, what do you think? What's on your mind? What's the inspirational moment?
Okay, don't worry, I'm prepared. So first, I want to shout out. This is going to be season 4 of Haikyuu spoilers. So if you've not watched that and you care, I'm sorry for you guys. You just might have to skip ahead. But this is about my guy, Tanaka Ryunosuke.
Okay.
It was peak for him, you know. He was spiking the ball. Man was saying, "You're a discount Bokuto." They weren't rating him, and he kept spiking and spiking, failing. And he even called for the ball. Tsukishima said, "Nah, let me pass it to Asahi." I said, "Oh." When I seen that moment, I was clutching my chest because I was like, "That's painful." To call for the ball and not receive it, but he still called for it after, and he kept going until he got the match point with a super clean cross shot. And when I seen that moment, I was inspired. I was moved because just because of the speech before it, when he's talking about being ordinary, understanding he's not the best on the team, but being ordinary is not an excuse to stop trying. And that's why I love that moment. And it was the point that won them the set as well, and it just showed mentality, the drive, and why he is a reliable player on the Karasuno team.
But yeah, that's
beautiful.
Son Lee. I'm not gonna lie to you. Son Lee. Hey, you guys, if you stayed, it was worth being spoiled. Still, it was worth it. What about you, Ed? Or do you want to do?
That's crazy.
Do you want to bang out your second one, or do you do one each and then? Because I actually did think about that.
I mean, I can go again if you want, but
Yeah, just complete yours.
Yeah, complete it.
okay. All right, and then my last one, it's gonna be controversial, but it's Urza versus the 100 Monsters. This was one of, especially in the anime, this was a beautiful scene. You know, Fairy Tail, they came back after 7 years where they've been in the mud. No one's respected them. They're at the Grand Magic Games, and Urza takes the challenge to not take on one monster but 100 by herself to win the whole challenge. And as you see her taking on all these different monsters, and the music, the OST behind her, the way she's struggling, but it's a beautiful kind of struggle where she's dancing in the wind, and they're talking about how this was the turning point in the Grand Magic Games and how people remembered the name Titania, Fairy Queen. And it just kind of showed you why Urza is that woman, bro. She was special, man. In that moment, I think it was probably one of the best moments in Fairy Tail for sure. And it just re-established who Fairy Tail is, that they are the top guild, and that they deserve their respects.
Not controversial at all, man.
Not 100%. I heard the passion, and I agreed with it.
And I was moved.
Respect Fairy Tail, please.
What about you, Ed? Well, I'm expecting some inspiration. I'm expecting to be like, after this pod, ready to run a marathon.
I think I got 2 or 3, to be fair. But the reason I screamed the screams I scrapped was I thought Daniel was going to take my one from Haikyuu.
Oh my days!
Yeah.
You said
it wasn't. It wasn't. I was sure, because like, no way you both thought about the same thing. And the massive amount of anime that inspired all of us. But it was something different. Slightly spoilers here as well, but I think it was the whole arc and the whole character growth of a character that really inspired me, and it was my boy Hinata, the ball boy arc, and when he finally got the received the ball flush, it was the journey from the start to the end was just inspirational. He was seen as a one trick pony. He was only good because of someone else. There's some things people said he was short. No, he was only had a disadvantage about his height, and he found something he was amazing at. Then people said, "Wow, actually, he might be a one trick pony." Without the help of someone who's clearly better than you, what can you really do? So he had to dig deep, and and him as a character. He didn't let it destroy him. He didn't let him kill him. He didn't lose focus. He's like, you know what? Let me just be better. Let me try. And he went and did his thing. He was willing to learn. He was reduced to a ball boy, and he took it in stride to be better. I think his focus was just on learning, no matter how. As long as he was going to get better to help the team, because he was not focusing on just himself. He was focusing on helping the team, and he was learning, receiving, and finally, in one of the biggest games in the team's career up to that point, and he finally did it, and he received that ball so beautifully. The smile on his face, the scene, even the manga and the anime was very emotional. I could shed a tear the journey I saw my boy took, because even the readers and the watchers knew, he's good, but when it comes to volleyball, maybe he's not as great as other people in the team in just a simple task. And he proved, you know what, I deserve to be on this team, and I want this team to succeed. And it was just very, very touching. And my second one was this was I think it just taught me about just confidence in yourself, and it's a bit funny, It was just I kind of foreshadowed it a little bit with the JJK talk. Was the spoilers ahead for the animes only for Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. It was Gojo after he got panned, destroyed, and I don't know. It was whether it's hype or inspiration or just excitement. I think I was just like, wow, this guy's different. The confidence, and the beautiful quote: "Above the heavens and earth, I am alone. I'm the honored one." Oh my God. I could stand up and just applaud him. It was beautiful. Then on a more sadder note, I think, and more, I guess, depressing note was in the silent voice, when the main character just discovered that he was not alone. Basically, he had friends, and after he pushed everyone away, because he was kind of maybe blame himself a little bit, because he's been used to being blamed, and he's just wallowing in self-pity. And Ishida found out he had a true friend and people who were around him who truly cared about him, whether it was Nagatsuka, whether it was Koyo's sister Yuzuru. It's you know what, no matter what you do, the people there for you, the people who are ready to forgive you for your mistakes, ready to hear you out when you want to speak to them, even though you've done something horrible. I think that kind of moment he realized, you know what, I'm not alone. I don't have to put my head down anymore. I can look into people's eyes and see that they actually care for me, and they like me for who I am, and I'm not going to get bullied. I'm going to get appreciated. No one's going to talk behind my back. I think that feeling of just true kind of friendship was just, I think, was really beautiful, and kind of inspired me to you know what, no matter what you're going through, no matter mistakes you make, just put your head up. There's going to be people around you to pick you up and love you through those mistakes. So yeah.
Yeah, some quality inspiration, fam. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was being moved in my seat. I don't think I'm ready enough for to tackle that marathon, but maybe I'll hear extra rep in my gym session tomorrow. I think for me, I would say, I think the first thing I want to say is Ranking of Kings, Boji. His becoming the king moment, pushing past his limitations or the things that he was born confined to, or confined within or unable to do. Understanding what's kind of impressive about this and like really inspired me is how even how young he was, he understood the vastness of his potential by not focusing on what he can't do, but everything that his disability then allows him to attain or heighten other aspects of himself. And it's not just on like just the bravo being a hero stuff, it kind of translates. So him being, because he's deaf and he's also mute, he's very attentive, and he really is an empathetic person and really focuses and is able to spot things that other people can't spot, and that kind of leads to what kind of character he has and the kind of kindness he has. And that's why man's always shouting him for king. It's not firstly because of his strength, it's just because of his empathy and heart. Even though he's so small, his heart is like so vast, and his ability to care. I think it also has to do with his mother. Even though it's weird, because when we first met his mother, she was looking like the op, but actually that's why you can't judge a book by its cover, because she's...
You're talking about Hilling?
Yes. Do you know when I first watched that, I thought she was op.
Stepmom.
Yeah, the stepmom. I thought she was op. Didn't she felt like op though?
She did, but that's why I think that's, even though I'm not a big Ranking of Kings fan, I think that's one thing they did really well. Just not making her be the stereotypical evil stepmom, but have her actually care about Oji, and love him.
And she did that a lot, because that definitely is what allowed him to be who he was, and like the aspect of that. And just using his ability to be very attentive, he was able to focus on his speed, be strong, able to, when he comes across enemies that he has to get past, he's able to focus on keying on quickly on their weaknesses and their strengths and use that to his advantage. So he definitely, for me, it feels like I've taken an inspiration by, it's like, always use what you have and value what you have, and focus on those skills and how that can also give you a big heart to, because you understand your weaknesses and what you don't have. You have to have, it gives you a big heart to be empathetic to others, because you understand that they also try and they also have weaknesses and they have to have strengths, and that's how we have to kind of work in hand to become kings and queens and whatever we're doing. And secondly, Rock Lee. Rock Lee is a big inspiration from Naruto. It was after the Chunin exam when man was battered and bruised, injured, slapped up, and he still had the the never give up attitude, like the fighting spirit, to be like, even with all these injuries and the fact that I might not even be able to walk again, or I don't even know if I'm going to be able to fight again, his determination to just do something simple as climbing the stairs, and his determination to gain that strength one step at a time. I just found that very inspirational. It's like, in anything, like, you don't have to capture the whole image of the journey. You just have to take it one step at a time, and it doesn't matter what kind of state you are. There's always hope. You just have to believe it first. People might even tell you, you're not going to be able to do this again, do this again. Like, bro, you just have to believe it first that you can, and take that first step, and then the second step, and then that's all. Focus on that step. I feel like everything we've mentioned so far are the ones that I think are good for, either big moments to get inspired from, or life lessons. What do you man think?
Yeah. I liked a lot of the moments that you guys mentioned. Like the Rock Lee one, that's iconic moment. And then also Silent Voice is kind of gives a different tone, you know, it's emotional. And you can get inspired because you can, I think it's more, what I take from it is about acceptance and, you know, becoming more comfortable in yourself. And that's why I think it's one of the reasons why that film is so powerful in what it's doing. It's a lot of life lessons in that film and a lot of things to take away. And then Hinata, Ball Boy arc, one of the best arcs. I think it's probably my favorite arc in Haikyuu. There's so much growth in that arc, just learning what it means to be a volleyball player. And I think what that taught me about is respecting the fundamentals of the game. You need to respect the fundamentals in anything you do. The basics are, even though they're basic, they're important.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Ed?
Yeah, I agree. I think all the ones I mentioned are really good, especially the Boji one speaks to me a lot, to be fair. And just kind of, especially for the kind of character he is, someone who's like has a disability and to keep moving forward and to get support he has is just beautiful. And Tanaka as well, you know, the perseverance to keep going. And it's easy to fall down when people are like talking and they're trying to be better than yourself and like, you know, like calling you like a B-tech or someone else, and the power to keep going and to finally achieve what you need to do and help the team. And you know, it's really good, man. I'm feeling inspired. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's perfect. Coming closer to the end, but I do want to get your top 3 anime quotes that inspired you. So this is slightly more specific. It'll be interesting to see what you man come up with. So start with Daniel.
Okay, so the first one is from Kill la Kill, the show that Rajel decided to bench, but
I thought we're never going to talk about that.
Crazy.
No,
we'll never let you forget.
Yeah, exactly. You tried to do a sneaky thing. Like, we still haven't spoken to you, but yeah, anyway. Satsuki Kyurem, yeah? This line stuck with me from the first time I heard it in the English dub, and it still sticks with me. It's simple. It says, "Ask not the sparrow how the eagle soars." Now, when I heard that, I felt chills because it's powerful, you know, like these are two different birds on two different planes. The eagle is a majestic bird, you know, it's soaring at heights that a sparrow can never reach. So don't ask it, because I think what this was saying, or what it says to me, is like, you know, sometimes if you want to reach the level, sometimes people aren't striving to reach that level, so you can't even ask them for help, because once you're trying to get to the top level and you're soaring high, you look down and they just can't keep up. And that's not really a disrespect, but sometimes you just have to find people who are willing to share the same drive as you and go to the same lengths to soar to the heights that you want to reach. And then my next one is from Sanji, and this is what he says to Usopp in Mortar 7. He says, "Everyone has things they can and cannot do. I'll do what you can't do, and you do what I can't do." And I love this quote because, you know, it just speaks to what it means to be in a team. You know, everyone has their own strengths, their weaknesses, and what a team should do is compensate and, you know, cover up those weaknesses and use them to make the team stronger. Whereas I might excel in area A. I think even in this podcast, this is a good example. You know, I feel like we all contribute in our own ways and we all help to elevate what we're doing right now. And I feel like because we have that understanding of what our roles are, we can do what we can do in the best way possible, and we can also help each other as well. So that's why that's one of my favorite quotes from One Piece. And then the last one, this is from Haikyuu, and it's what the teacher, Mr. Takeda, says to Hinata, and it says, "He who climbs the ladder must begin at the bottom." And this is just reinforcing
That's powerful,
the
man.
fundamentals. It's one of the best quotes that came from that. It's probably my favorite, because like again, fundamentals are so important. You can't just skip steps. You can't skip levels, man. You have to start from level 1 every time. You can't just go and climb a ladder and skip the first rung. I mean, maybe you can, but that's not the point. You have to understand how to do something, what the most basic action is before you go to the advanced levels. Because if your fundamentals are not good, when you try to do something more difficult, it's not going to be good either, because you don't know how to do it at the basic level. So yeah, those are 3 of my favorite quotes. So yeah.
No, some sick quotes. I'm not gonna lie to you, really inspiring quotes. Ed, what about you, man?
You know how crazy that was? I was that close to picking that HQ one as well. You know?
Is it? Hey, you might have
Yeah,
been
was
kind of
so
close. You're on the
So
same
close,
wavelength.
bro. It literally is like my number 5. Literally, I think prepared 5 just in case someone said something else. It's like it was my number 5. It was crazy. It was an amazing quote. It's the best quote from Haikyuu, in my opinion. Amazing. And that teacher has some gems, you know. It's another one he has as well. I've forgotten it, but
What,
he
he be
has some
preaching?
gems.
He really be preaching on that?
I think it was
I'm telling
talking
you.
about being like, but what the true meaning of being weak is. I think it's like if you remain on the floor and be weak, that's when you're truly weak. But if you keep going and learn from your weakness, it makes you a better person. But he has gems. It's amazing. But for my 3, I'm gonna go for one from One Piece, you know, by Dr. Heliok. Is
Ooh,
amazing one. Like
I had that one as well.
and I felt like you might say it, so I was like, oof, got any close, but it basically says, when do you think people die? When they're shot in the heart with a pistol, when they're like ravaged by like incurable disease, or when they drink food made from like a poisonous mushrooms. It's like, no, it's when they're forgotten. And that's just amazing. I think this inspires me to kind of leave a mark on this wall, you know, to do something important. I think once you're truly forgotten, I think that's just really sad. So, and it doesn't mean to do something so like massive, like winning a Nobel Prize or something. It's just from your friends, from your families, from people on the road, just being a good person, impacting them in a positive way, you know, and just making sure like you leave something behind. It's like, oh, remember Ed? He was a great person. You know, Daniel, that guy, I rated him. You know, Rachel, I think just leaving something behind, and no matter how small it is, just having an impact on someone's life is really important. I think it's really good. So that quote really sits with me till this time, and you know, especially for his character as well, because Dr. Hilo can never be forgotten by Chopper, and even by the Straw Hats, who even never really got to see him as well. So it was amazing. Then my number 2, it was hard for me to pick number 1 and number 2, but if I order it, this will be number 2. It's a Mayuri. It says, I hate perfection. To be perfect is to be unable to improve any further. That's what I was talking to Pineda, and you know, he's just basically saying, you know, perfection is kind of overrated, because if you're doing something you think is perfect, you've reached the ceiling. There's no where else to go. You've reached the pinnacle, the top of the ladder, and sometimes, you know, you just want to keep going, you know. And once you reach perfection, there's nowhere else to go. There's literally nowhere else to go. You can improve on yourself, can be better. So there's no such thing as perfection, because you need to keep improving yourself at all times. And it was just amazing especially for someone like Miuri to say that. Someone who like seems like he seeks perfection but hates it at the same time, because he wants that will to improve, to get better. But as for his experiments to protect the Serite, you know, just to keep going, I think that's really good to put in your day-to-day life. You know, whatever you're doing, you're studying, you're working out, is to keep getting better, not just to reach a final form kind of thing. Because that's what sometimes it is in an anime. It's like, oh, this is my final form. Well, just keep going. There's more to do, whether it's your art, whether it's your career, whether it's just your hobby, you know, just keep going. I think that's a really, really important message to put out there. Then my final one is a bit of a long one, but it's from Vagabond, and it's by Takwan to Miyamoto, the main character, from his kind of mentor. It says, preoccupied with a single leaf, you don't see the tree. Preoccupied with a single tree, you miss the entire forest. see everything in its entirety effortlessly. That's what it means to like truly see. And that was just, it hit me heavily, especially when I was reading Vagabond for the first time. It's like, oh wow, kind of, it's talking about perspective, having a wider range and seeing things in its entirety, not to be hyper focused on things. There's some situations you're like, oh my god, this is it. I can't go like past this. I need to focus on this, and you kind of ignore things on your side, whether that be family, whether that be friends, whether that be other aspects that need focus as well, because you're hyper focused on one thing. It's not important, even though people are like, I need to focus on this right now, but make sure you see things in entirety. How can this affect everything else? Kind of open your eyes and see everything. And I think that was it hit a spot in my heart. I think of all the quotes, that's the one that stayed with me the longest, I think. I try and practice it every single day of my life, see from a wider perspective, avoid that tunnel vision, and because it can lead you astray sometimes. So yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really impressed with both of you, man. Still, I'm not gonna lie to you. Hey, you've had a preaching. I hope you guys are listening and taking it in, and just getting inspired, because there's inspiration in anything. In these quotes, the depth and the meaning, they do add value, and they can really be things that kind of further you, like Ed said, like pushing beyond like just thinking there's a final form or how something should look, but taking everything in its entirety. For me, I think the first one I want to mention is from Death Parade. Is, do not forget that you are certain to die someday, and as such, you have all the more reason to live now. And it was funny because, especially in the sense that even in that episode, they weren't know it was a couple, and the husband said it to the wife or the girlfriend at the time. They weren't even aware that they were dead. So when that quote even came out, it was kind of like a shout out to the viewer to really be conscious of, even though this is just anime, your reality, and that you have the benefit of being alive now to view this and learn from this, even though this is like not a real situation, but the lessons and the realities are really significant in the fact that in reality one day there's a fact that we're all not going to be here, and in essence giving the viewer opportunity to reconsider if they are really living every day fully, or really kind of approaching life understanding that it's vast and limitless, but we are very much limited to a certain amount of time that we're graced with on earth and the opportunities that are at hand. So you have to kind of, for me, it was like attack everything, or even always try or to attack everything without fear and wholeheartedly, because like there's actually nothing truly to fear. There's nothing truly that should restrict you, because you don't really have time to fear. You know what I mean? You don't have time to be restricted. You have to love fully and wholeheartedly, be kind fully and wholeheartedly, and really commit to being the full version of you, but also commit to bringing out the best and full version in other people. And that was very significant to me, and is a value and something that I try to think about or engage with, especially as time and life gets busy. It's easy to lose focus and not understand how special each moment you are, because you be like, how it is, you be tired, days are long, so it's like you're stressing, but like there's a value in all of that, because you're alive and you have an opportunity, and even in how difficult or hard that time is, you can find beauty and you can be that beauty. Second quote is from One Punch Man, Saitama. human strength lies in the ability to change yourself, and just understanding that controlling everything that you are able to control, regardless of the constrictions or the limitations that have been afforded to you, taking every opportunity or any thing that kind of comes within your field of control and maxing that out, wherever it is. So I believe for us, our platform, maxing out how when we record and stuff and the kind of conversation we have, not in essence to find perfection, but just because we know that every time we push ourselves and strive for something, we're changing and we're learning and we're not being static. And I think that spoke to me, because like, let's not be kind of static individuals or static people. Let's be ever evolving people, where the purpose is not something that is something in front of us, but the purpose is us. We, like, the strength lies within us, and we are the purpose, and that holds true, that we should then push towards growing that, growing ourselves. And that's when you are able to touch other people's lives and be something more than that you could ever imagine. And last one is Alucard: giving up kills people. When people reject giving up, they finally win the right to transcend humanity. And it's just saying that, you know, just never give up, basically, in essence. Always push, always, like, the only failure is giving up. Falling is not a failure, and falling and failing is not in essence a failure. It is just the road you take to get to the destination. It doesn't have to look like anything. It doesn't have to feel like anything. It just requires you to never give up and always push forward. I hope you man like those quotes. Those are my three.
Solid selection.
Yeah, pretty good. Amazing.
Yeah, I feel like all around the quotes were banging. I know that we've definitely inspired. We're probably inspiring the next generation on right now. Kind of coming to the end. Definitely hit the hour mark. So I kind of wanted to get your synopsis of what you've kind of learned, or what not even what you learned, but on the lines of what this conversation has brought up in you or inspired you, or what kind of thoughts have come up, and can you see the depth to which philosophy and stoicism and anime are kind of interaligned.
Okay, so I think, you know, a lot of anime or manga take a lot of inspiration from philosophy, and we see that in the quotes that we've all just read out. A lot of I'd say they all draw on some sort of philosophical theme or some, I guess, stream of philosophy. So they're definitely interlinked. And even in the start, even with some of the quotes, it was actually quite difficult to tell if it was philosophy or just written from an anime. So you can tell that they are closely related. And I think my final thoughts on it is just like, there's a lot of things in anime that happen that you can take from real life and you can implement in your real life, and you can use that to motivate you, and you can use that to drive you. And it's all about using that and channeling it the right way, and not using it as a crutch, but using it as a booster.
Yeah, well said. What about you, Ed?
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, not using it as a crutch, using it as a booster. So that's an inspirational quote in itself right now.
For real.
But yeah, that's really well said. But yeah, man, I think what I've kind of got from this is, like, there's so many positive, like, quotes and inspiration to take from. So you need to find the right one to kind of positively lead yourself forward, and not fall into the bad habit of, like, seeking revenge and stuff like that. No, there's many inspirational individuals when it comes to anime, some inspirational characters, scenes that can happen. So you can look forward to it and use it as a booster to keep going forward and try not to go into a dark kind of mindset to kind of seek revenge or anything like that. So I think that's mainly what I've learned from this.
For me, I would say just because of my interest in philosophy and my love of philosophy, and always like reading and gaining perspective and trying to have a broad view, I was happy to have this conversation. It's something that I've always wanted to talk about on the pod. I think for me, it's to do with how different everybody's motivation and what they take from anime, you know what I mean? And it really kind of sheds a light on understanding that just because you're not inspired by something that somebody else is not inspired by doesn't mean it's not valid. As you can see, us three have had very different quotes and very, very different inspirational moments that we kind of stood out to us, and they're all as valid as each other, and nobody should feel like what inspires them is not something that is not inspirational, because it's all about perspective. But continue to be broad and, you know, seek the right influences. For me, like Daniel said, philosophy and anime have always been kind of something that's interlinked. I've always seen deep connection on deep philosophical ideas, and I think it's mostly to do with just the fact that philosophy and the study of like knowledge and the study of people, anime is inspired by people, and it is stories told about people and relationships and stuff. So it's definitely it's going to come up. So I really enjoyed this conversation. Do you man have any last thoughts before we end?
Just keep keep trying to take some lessons from the things you watch, and keep your eyes open.
What about you, Ed?
Yes, sir. I think I'm just going to leave you, man, with one of my. I had to say this quote at one point as well. The one I love so much. It's very simple. It says, "Whatever happens, happens," by Spike Spiegel. You know, Cowboy Bebop, and just don't dwell too much on the failures. Just whatever happens, happens. What's gone is gone. Basically, it is what it is. Keep moving forward. Don't focus on the failures, you know, and keep pushing forward. You will always persevere. So whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, perfect way to end, man. Perfect way to end. So guys, appreciate you all for listening to us. As we said earlier, special episode because we touched 100 subscribers on YouTube, and we're going to keep on pushing forward, as Ed alliterated, and we're going to judge anything too much, just continue to work and bring you content. I hope you guys continue to enjoy the journey. Follow us on all the socials, TikTok and Insta, as mentioned in the beginning, and hopefully we'll be catching this episode soon. So catch you guys in a bit. Drink your water, read your quotes, be inspired, attack life. We're not here forever. Peace.
Catch you in the next one.
Jesus.
Love you.